It is 5:04. I will call this City of Benton Park Committee meeting to order. We'll start by recognizing our attendance with my far right.
Just Steve Brown.
And Spencer Cole.
Evelyn Reed.
Bill Donner.
Stephanie Jones.
Jeff Morrow.
Jeff Ham.
All right, thank all of you for coming. We do have a quorum. The chair will entertain a motion to approve the minutes if there are not any changes that need to be made to the January 14th meeting.
Second.
All right, all in favor of accepting the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, the only thing currently on the agenda is a stage rental pricing. You can see that on the back part of that where it talks about rental costs per day as well as with the pop-up risers. And Stephanie, you want to go into why the rates are set at what they were and the staff hours that it's required?
Yeah, so I'm gonna have Junior come and speak to this as well, but he did the research on the pricing, comparables to other stages that meet these specs. So this was kind of the middle pricing, what we felt was comfortable. The staging also does require a mandatory on-site visit with our staff to make sure that we can put it in the space based on the rules of this staging. So if you want to speak to that, Junior, as well.
Yeah, this would include, so this would include our staff going on site, looking at the location, making sure that the parameters of the stage would fit, the configuration of how the stage could fit into the space to make sure that it works. Travel to and from the location, staff on site during the event. I talked with Stage Line. They put me in contact with a couple of different vendors that have that stage that they use, and based in our territory, that market range was the $2,500 to $3,500 number. So their recommendation for us was not to go under that number, just to potentially lowball any other vendors. I think for us as a city, we're not looking to get into the rental business, but we want to have that opportunity for our community if they so choose so.
As well as the on-site visit, it does include setup and tear down, which is 2 to 3 hours on the front end and the back end for setup and tear down, so 6 hours total, as well as the banners. Farmers Bank sponsored this and paid for half of it, so we appreciate their community support. So those banners will be put up every time the stage is in use.
So it says on the deposit of $500 goes towards the rental. So if the deposit is paid and then it's actually the event does not go on, they get that full 500 back, or that is kept?
That is not kept. That's similar to any tournament that we have, unless it's within that 30-day window. So if we have a tournament that books and they cancel within that time frame, then we keep your deposit. If it's
Okay.
without of that time frame, then you would receive that back, and or use it for another rental.
Right.
So.
I know we're not anticipating, heavy demand, but, we paid a lot of money for this, and we got a very generous donation. Are we sure we want to have the option for rental?
We do for our other, and it takes a lot of manpower, so we're pulling guys to go and set that up and tear it down, as well as potentially overtime, so we felt like it was a need. Most of our community events are city-run, so we're not going to be charging for those. This is anything outside of the city.
So city groups will, like Mayor's Youth Council wanted to use it?
Third Thursday,
There's no cost to them?
parades, anything. No.
Okay.
No, there wouldn't be a charge.
Stephanie, what type of events do you see the community using this, non-city events, if you had to guess?
It really depends on who comes in. I could see it, a secondary stage if Amplify wanted to do something smaller for kids outside, not located on that property. Somewhere else, I could see it for festivals, different 5Ks if they wanted use of it. But I think that our community could use it. It depends on the scale of the event that they're hosting, but it would be an option. Instead of using that just pop-up riser, it's an actual stage.
Salt bowl?
Yeah, something like that.
I think I know the answer to this, but want to ask you. So because you talked about city-sponsored event, but if an event like Old Fashioned Day, which city participates in, but is really a private event, if they wanted it, then they would have to pay for it,
Yeah,
right?
so the
Okay,
fairground and,
yeah.
anybody who has rented our stages in the past, they know that there's fees associated with it, and they're made aware of that when they inquire about it.
Is there a policy, since it's mobile, it sounds like?
Mhm.
Like they can use it within a 30-mile radius, or they can't take it outside the city
I
limits?
believe we would probably keep it on our property if they're hosting an event on our property. Anything outside of that, I would probably lean to you or the mayor, depending on location. And if it's doable, there are certain rules and regulations with the stage that we have to abide by to put it in different places.
And say if farmers wanted to use it for, say, Old Fashioned Day, would we let them have it for nothing, or we're gonna charge
I
farmers?
think being the sponsor, because they purchased half of it, I think we would allow them. If we need to come back to you for that, to get that request, we can do so. But I think if the bank requested it, we would allow them.
So we got to be careful, we're gonna get sued if we let somebody use it, but don't let somebody else use it, and they'll figure.
Sure, we can add that onto the exhibit, and or in the ordinance, that the sponsor would have use of it,
Or you may wanna limit even the number
Up to twice a
of
year,
times.
or whatever.
Not to be taken
Do
out of
you
the
wanna
city,
agree upon that now,
not to take it out of the city limits of Benton.
okay,
And only use twice a year.
Chairman.
Yeah. I don't know.
You mentioned softball, so I thought maybe Little Rock. But I don't know that, maybe Pepper Island's here locally.
It's gonna be in
yeah,
Benton
Everett
and
has, we
Bryant
have
now.
used it for the
It's gonna be
city
Benton
for
and
Pepper
Bryant
Island, the
now.
riser, so I would assume.
Yeah, you know, the salt bowl,
Hey, hang on, let Mr. Donner go, and then we'll go.
if you have something like the salt bowl, they'll probably wanna take it to War Memorial Stadium. Say, if farmers wants to take it, or,
If I'm writing in here and you approve not outside the city limits, then we would not be doing that, so.
salt bowl's a big deal, though.
The salt bowl is not in
Salt bowl
Little
may
Rock
be being
anymore.
moved back to
Oh,
the,
is it not?
No, they changed it to Benton
Right.
and Bryant.
Okay, Ben and Bryant,
Yeah.
okay.
How hard is it to move? Does that require like a semi-truck?
Semi-truck, but we do have a fifth wheel with our Ram 2500 that it's pulled with. So we do only have one vehicle that's capable of pulling it right now.
Mr. Brown, I cut you off earlier.
I had nothing, I was echoing that
So-
softball is coming back local.
Okay. So just so I'm clear, we're gonna say that the purchasing, the bank will be allowed within the city limits up to 2 times a year of the rental.
And you want all rentals within the city limits, correct? Not just-
That's what I would say, yes.
County maybe. No?
So I'd say. So how, is there, I don't wanna,
City.
Yeah, we probably need to do this in form of a motion.
Right.
I'll make a motion that we allow the sponsor, usage 2 times, up to 2 times per year. All usage, all rental usage would be just within the city limits.
I'll second.
all right,
I think we need to run that by the city attorney also, to make sure that we got all our eyes.
right.
I will email him after this.
All right, is there any other discussion? If not, all in favor accepting the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you all for that. Thanks, Junior. I appreciate that. Next item on the agenda is other, and I don't believe there's anything. Would anybody like to bring anything from the public? From the board? All right, seeing none, I'll call this meeting adjourned. Thank you for coming. Appreciate it. Thanks, Stephanie.
That sponsorship, Andy.
No, they just like $90-something thousand. 96, thank you.
Right, well, you're gonna explain it. We'll start Streets and Drainage Committee meeting in 2 minutes. Is everybody ready to go? Okay. We'll start, it's now 5:14. We'll start the Streets and Drainage Committee meeting to call to order. And I'll start with myself, and we'll go around for attendance. Jeff Ham,
Lines?
Judd Hart.
John Ritchie.
Evelyn Reed. And Spencer Cole.
Frank Baptist.
all right. We have a copy of the minutes from September 10th. If everybody's had the opportunity to review those, I'll accept a motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We have one thing on the agenda tonight, and I'm gonna turn it over to Mr. Ritchie since this bid just came in, and he'll explain it to you.
Okay, I got a sample resolution, or draft resolution of the Shoreline Boulevard drainage improvements from H.W. Tucker Company and other purposes. We recommend H.W. Tucker as the lowest qualified bid for this project. And there's a sample draft resolution there for it.
If you notice on about the third or fourth page, the certified bid tab, and H.W. Tucker is in the center. They weren't the lowest bid, but as Mr. Ritchie said, they're the most qualified. Any questions or concerns?
Do we have experience with this company, John?
H.W. Tucker, we sure do.
Okay, good deal.
Airline.
How long is the drainage project? I'm just curious.
How long?
Yeah, how much area?
I would say it's about 500 and 600 feet. Not more than 1,000 anyway. I just kind of turns and
We don't know either. Exactly where is South Shoreline?
South Shoreline's at Hurricane Lake on the north end.
And this was started a couple years ago, and as I understand it, according to Mr. Ritchie, the bid was pretty much secured, but both people owning the company passed away. So
we had to
that
start over.
started over.
Mr. Ritchie, is this a stormwater issue? Will it be coming for those funds?
It comes from street improvement funds.
Okay.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. There being nothing else other than other.
Well, we got
Uh,
one more.
Oh, we got a resolution to appropriate the funds. I'm sorry.
Out of street improvement. So,
Yeah, we have to have a resolution to appropriate the funds out of
to answer,
streets and drainage.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Call for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, we will proceed. Mr. Ritchie, do you have the project updated list?
I do have one here for y'all to review at your convenience. As I always have provided, I'd be glad to answer any questions you may have about anything.
It's the last 2 pages in your packet. quite a bit going on.
So your overlays are in progress. I thought those were mainly in the spring, summer, and fall.
Just, I was able to land them early this year.
Weather's no impact on it,
Not yet.
not yet, okay?
They're almost complete. They've been working on them in between on the pretty days, I guess you'd say.
John, on the speed humps, are those all, every one of those follow, I guess, the example of, or going through the proposal to get all that on a street, or is those just people calling and saying?
People calling, asking for us to look into a speed hump.
Okay.
John, when you guys say you do a speed hump study, what does that consist of?
We'll do traffic counts and just follow up on any, what kind of street it is. Just look at it thoroughly through our ordinance, way it describes us to do a speed hump study.
It seems to be working out pretty good.
John, what about the Kenwood and 35? I saw your dividers got tore up for about the second or third day. Is that the stage gonna put them up, or y'all put those up?
We'll do the maintenance of that. We'll go back and fix that back up.
Just put some steel posts, leave part of their car there.
We'll do something. We got some ideas.
Along that same line, I know a lot of 18-wheelers come through in there with those dividers there, they're going over the curb every time and coming over. Are we looking to widen that a little bit or trying to fix that?
We'll do something a little different than what we did there. We're thinking about the little round bollards that go to the ground level and that stick up just barely, but they're round. But anything can drive on if they need to, but still give that sense of curve there. The WO is still there and all that.
John, do we have an update on the, off-ramp, the access road, the 3?
The update, the update that I'd gotten last was sometime in March or this spring. That's kind of the way it was worded, is what they wanted to try to do. But I'll check on that and report back the next Saturday.
How long does all that take to build that thing?
I would think close to a year. Yep. I think it was a lot of months, but I think it's close to a year.
Well, they're currently moving telephone and gas lines and things of that nature over to the right of the existing roadway. Any other questions or discussions?
I got one more thing. I'd like to introduce the assistant director for the street department, Doyle Stroud.
Nice to meet you, Doyle.
He's been off doing a really good job for us. So just want to make sure you got introduced tonight, so y'all know who he is.
Will it place anybody, or?
He plays William, eldest William.
Can I get your number?
Which half of the day do you work? John works all the time, so I figure.
Yeah.
I know it.
If you need his number, I can give it to you.
John, Mindy was saying last night they had some paperwork to finish filing on the roundabout.
Yes, Baxter has that right now. I'm working on it. I saw him working on it today.
That's all there is to it.
Goes back to the state for them to review, and yes, we hope that's going to sew that up.
Is that the one on Congo?
Congo Shenandoah roundabout.
How's your equipment holding up? Any maintenance issues that are?
stuff going on with equipment, but, it's doing pretty good.
Well, there's always something, but
Yes, sir.
I'll tell you, picking up the leaves on the curb for folks, that's really popular. You really doing a good job, and I appreciate you in doing that.
We're glad to do it. It's good service for our folks.
Any other questions or discussion of Mr. Ritchie? Yeah, any other business to take up? Seeing or hearing none, this meeting is adjourned. I didn't do anything. I was told you I was gonna turn it over to you.
I hurt my thumb back in November. And it's still messed up, so I'm doing physical therapy on it now. I'm gonna have to take this off.
Yeah, I got a note from all the Airbnb hosts and all the travelers. I'll try to get a look, so I'm trying to let them more.
Yeah, I had that on my upper one.
And they want some contact information on all of them. Trying to get feedback on it. Restricting your city regularly. Yeah, that's right. So the state, the state is trying to submit something to municipalities.
Now I'm gonna have to go on tonight at some point. You gotta go Kroger first. I done turned myself on to Kroger. I had to pull this. I was rolling. Are you ready, John? Are you ready?
I am.
Okay. Okay, good evening. We're going to go ahead on and call the Community Service Committee meeting to order. We do have a quorum. We're going to recognize our attendees, starting on my right with Mr. Baptist,
Baptist.
and Spencer Cole, Evelyn Reed,
Bill Donner.
John Parton.
Jeff Morrow?
Judd Hart.
Valons.
Jeff Am.
Okay, as I stated, we do have a quorum. At this time, the chair will call for approval of the January 14th minutes,
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion approved. Under item 4, new business, proposed amendment to ordinance 35 of 2022, adding the intersection of Military Road and Northeast Street for the purpose of restricting right-of-way, conversers and solicitors within the city of Benton.
All right. We routed this through last month, and for the council meeting, the name of the street, the intersection was replaced and inadvertently put in, and this is running this back through with Military Road and Northeast Street as the intersection that we're adding to the list of those where we're restricting canvassers and things of that nature.
Any questions or comments?
The one that was approved last
Time was just the wrong address. so
Yes,
we're
it was
correcting
already
that.
on the, it was,
Okay.
it already been approved.
We can't just, okay.
Yeah.
All right. I make the motion. I'll move forward with this.
second.
We have a motion and a second to move forward with amending ordinance 35 of 2022, putting the correct addresses in the amendment. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, item B, we have condemnations and liens.
I think so.
quickly. It's in bad shape. Holes in the roof, holes on the exterior. The envelope, as I like to call it, has been breached in several places. I think there's going to be some foundation issues as well. There was a gentleman living in it as recently as 2 months ago. But you go inside and it's pretty rough. And then this is just the paperwork. That's the end of it. Gentleman that's purchasing the property is here. I think he'd like to speak on what his plans are.
My name's Kent Garden. Like Bruce said, we're purchasing the house. On Friday, we close. We're going to totally restore it. We're going to take the roof completely off because it's bad. It's in bad shape. The outside of it, and we looked underneath the house, and the foundation is actually in pretty good shape. There's parts where the roof is leaked, where some of the walls have got some water damage, but it should be pretty simple. I've had a contractor come in there and look. I've had a real estate appraiser come in and look. He said it shouldn't be a problem getting it back in shape. So, like I said, we're going to start Friday. I got a dumpster coming out there. It's going to park it there Friday morning or Friday afternoon, and we're going to start demo. And like I said, when we're done with it, it's not going to look a thing like that. We're going to clean the yard is horrible. I mean, it's a nice lot. The guy that just lived there, the father that lives across the street, said that the kid would come home and not do anything and just let it go because it is nasty inside. It's also 7-foot roofs. We're gonna make it 8 foot and put an upstairs on it, and with new trusses and everything. And the brick's actually in pretty good shape. I walked around it and only saw one or small cracks in it or whatever, but it needs new windows, new roof. We're gonna do all that up to code, new electrical, plumbing, everything. So probably in 2 or 3 months, it ain't gonna look a thing like that, I promise. But I haven't pulled them yet because I haven't bought the house yet, but that shouldn't be a problem. I've got, like I said, I've got a contractor that can pull all the permits and do everything that needs to be done.
You buying this property for lease or rent?
To sell, to flip, I'll sell somebody, yes. Oh, not a rental. But what was your question, sir?
You're buying it this Friday?
Yes, I closed on Friday. I closed over here at Pro Land Title. And we should be able to have it ready in 3 months. That's what we're thinking, 3 months or so. But like Bruce said, it's ugly. You go in there. The one thing I was shocked when I walked into it is, tripping over all the Natty Light boxes that were in the floor. It didn't smell like it didn't have a horrible smell to it. Like you'd expect a mold and mildew, but there was none of that. And so, but other than that, anything else that I need to? Y'all got any other questions? It's one story. Yes, there's a crawl space underneath. You can see on the bottom right hand there's a little crawl space. It's probably yay big. We crawled underneath there and looked, and all the pillars look good, all the wood looked good, except on that farthest one side. Where the one on the left side, as you look on the top left, it's really bad. The roof's bad. But like I said, we're going to rip that roof off, get brand new trusses on there, and with the trusses, we're going to make room for upstairs. But we're just going to put 2 bedrooms, nothing else up there, nothing, no plumbing or anything. But yeah, just 1 floor.
So Bruce filled you in on the process here. We're probably going to condemn it.
Yeah, he said, yeah, that's fine.
And as long as you're working on it, showing progress, working with Bruce.
Yeah. You betcha. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. No problem. I'll just whatever I need to do, we'll take care of it and make it a nice house for somebody to come in and pay taxes. That's the key.
Would you be willing to come back and show us your improvements?
You betcha. You betcha. Whenever you need me to be here, I'll be here.
Okay.
I'll read the text better this time. I thought it said 6 p.m. instead of 5 p.m. That's my fault. But yeah, you betcha. You let me know when to be here, and I'll be here. I'll bring pictures. They'll look better in those pictures.
Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
Thank you for investing in the community.
Yeah, this won't come before full council until the end of March, so there'll be some. And if you'd like to have Mr. Gardner come for the next committee meeting and give an update. Now, that's only a month from now, and with the weather and all that, I would be skeptical if, you know, a lot of things got done in that period of time.
April might be better, I think.
Well, but it comes, you know, if we proceed, but we're gonna work with him,
Yeah.
you know, certainly we'll work with him, so. Okay, and then,
So whenever you think he needs to come back, that'll be fine, no hurry.
well, if the full council in March votes to condemn, and/or if he's making progress in the next that's 6 weeks from now. If he's making good progress, we might decide to pull it. Because at some point, he's gonna have enough money in it, unless something really bad happens, he can't back out. At that point, you know, he's gonna be committed. So, you know, we may make that decision based on the progress that's made, you know, between now and the end of March. But he's been very, you know, it's a good working relationship there, so I feel good about it at this point.
Good deal. Any other questions, comments? Okay,
Can we
no.
vote on these separately?
Yes, please.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the condemnation of 811 Ward Drive.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to move forward with the condemnation at 811 Ward Drive. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion.
Clarify, Bruce, that is this, the garage part.
No, that's Harmon.
It's Harmon.
Harmon, yeah.
Ward is the whole,
Or is that gentleman's?
yeah.
But Harmon is just the detached
Detached.
garage, correct?
Okay, so now Chair entertain a motion for 1602 Harmon Drive. Okay, we have a motion and a second to move forward with the condemnation at 1602 Harmon Drive, and it is just the detached garage at Harmon Drive. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes, thank you. Okay, we do not have anything under old business or discussion, so under other, we have an update on 3001 Pembroke Drive.
You know, we've been working with Miss Linda Humes for an extended period of time, and we made a list 3 months ago on items that we wanted to see taken care of in the time frame in which we wanted to see it, and I just wanted to bring you an update on where we are on that checklist. Ms. Humes is here if you have any questions from her. She's here to be able to answer those questions. The first two things that were of immediate concern to us were termites and mold, and we requested a termite inspection and a mold inspection be done. Those have both been done, although I have not seen the results of either of those tests yet. The next thing, there's been a 20-yard dumpster on site since probably late fall, and according to Ms. Humes, it's been emptied 5 times, so about 100 yards of material that has come out of that house so far. And there has been a temporary storage container that's on site now to store good stuff that's, you know, that's salvageable in the process of emptying, you know, the structure itself. Ms. Humes has the next two things were the roof and the siding and windows and all that, and getting those sealed up. Ms. Humes does have an estimate from a roofer. I don't know that she's given him the go-ahead yet, but a lot of that was predicated, in my understanding, and wisely so. If the house is eaten up with termites, don't spend 20 grand on a new roof. Or if the house is completely mold infested, and it's, you know, it's not wise to get the little things, those deal killers out of the way and resolve first before you start spending money on roof and siding and windows and that sort of thing. But she does have an estimate from a roofer for a new roof.
Mr. Thomas?
Yes, sir.
This is probably the longest in case that I've seen in history since I've been on the council. In April of this year, it'll be 2 years to get this house habitable. Last meeting, you weren't present, but I asked for a list of what you requested of her to be done and with a timeline. And I still request that for all the council members, because this is going on long, way long, too far long. And still, and driving by, I don't see any improvement from the outside. Now, you know, I like to see these reports on the inspections that were done to make sure that they were in fact done.
I agree, and we're requesting those as well. And I can email you. I'm sorry I wasn't aware that you were needing the timeline. I can email that to you tomorrow to everybody here. It's a 2-page document that we signed and Ms. Hume signed, that here's what you'll do. There's probably about 8 or 10 things. It included the boat, it included the detached garage, it included a lot of things that we're not talking about here. And things that were checked off and have been completed. But yeah, we can certainly send you an email.
Mr. Thomas, are you pleased with her, how far she's gone?
I'm lukewarm. I'm disappointed that we didn't make the 60 days for the initial inspections. I felt like that was very attainable, and it's been 90 days. So I'm disappointed in that.
I'm disappointed, Mr. Thomas, in it's taken this long to get this far.
Was there a reason behind it? Was there a reason behind, you didn't make the timeline? Did she give you a reason behind not making the timeline?
I'll let Ms. Humes address that.
Could you answer that for us, please?
So we could ask her a few questions? Is that okay? Yeah, that's fine. Whichever works. Can you tell us the results of the 2 surveys you had that were requested?
Well, some of them were pertaining to us going ahead and doing some further work inside. It didn't appear to have any termites, but we're gonna go ahead and do some demolition inside. I just got a remodel permit, and we'll just speed things up now.
So you haven't done the termite inspection yet?
Yes, I have a letter from the termite guy and the mold company.
And what do they say?
Bruce, you've
Or
got
what's the conclusion?
It basically says, well, as we progress through the remodel, he'll come back and do a follow-up inspection to further ensure we do not have any termite issues.
And that's from the termite people?
Yes,
What company?
Bob's Pest.
I wonder if you, Mr. Thomas, you could provide us with these documents that she's talking about so we could look at them at the next meeting.
The mold inspection, what is it?
He's come out, he's done his test, and we're waiting on lab results.
And who done that for you?
Just a minute, let me. EnviroPro Testing and Consulting.
And you can get us documents for that too?
Yes.
Okay.
I've got phone numbers,
And I
contact
paid.
information. I can help verify all this stuff as well. I haven't done that yet.
Oh, I'm sorry, hon.
Ms. Humes, I'm just curious, what has taken so long
and getting this home of yours rehabitable?
I'm old. And, we've been working on it. I work a full-time job. And I don't, particularly want a salvage crew or whatever in there till I get some of my personal stuff out of it. That is a house full of memories. It's been hard. My husband died there. And I've had a really difficult time dealing with it. I know I'm slow on it, but it's fixing to speed up.
When you say we, are you the only one that's doing it yourself, or you got help?
Well, I have my daughter, but she has a little girl and she's full-time too.
Are you think we're asking anything unreasonable of you to get this home?
No, not really. The house does not look bad from the outside. I just need to make changes inside or I'll never be able to stay there. That was one of the worst. My husband was 43.
Mr. Thomas, what's your recommendation on this?
And I know you want to tear it down and condemn it.
Yes, ma'am.
My recommendation is to continue to meet, maybe even monthly, with updates, and continue to, for lack of a better word, keep the pressure on. I mean, we are making progress. It's not. I'm not happy that it's as slow as it is, but you know, we are making progress.
Yes.
I won't say it, I don't want you to feel like I'm lecturing to you, because I'm really not intending to do that. But, you know, this is an issue that we've been facing as a council for 2 years now. Obviously, you've got, history there a lot longer than that, but it's really been brought to the attention of this council for the last 2 years. We have a difficult job from the perspective of trying to balance what's fair to you with what's fair to your neighbors. And there's been many complaints from your neighbors over the last 2 years, and we really feel like we've gone way above and beyond. I say we. Let me just speak for myself. I feel like we've gone way above and beyond in trying to accommodate you. And I'll be honest with you, Frank's been pushing on this quite a bit, and I've been reluctant for a while. But I think we're all at a point now. We're going on 2 years. I'm glad we're seeing progress, but we really need to move this project along to be fair to your neighbors, to be fair to the neighborhood. I live a street over from that house, so it's something that I pass by, you know, quite frequently as well. So I'm glad you're making progress, but I strongly encourage you to pick up the pace, keep the pace going as well, because I think as a committee, we're losing patience with this project.
I first cleaned up everything that everyone's complained about. The neighbors who cut down trees, I cleaned those up because they were left on my property. And I did all the cleanup and got that, and I thought that was enough. And then you turn around and you come back with more. And then you turn around and you come back with more. So I'm just trying to get it.
Bruce, this is 30 days past due, past the time frame.
Yes. Well, it would have, 90 days or 60 days would have been January 14th.
Ms. James, I'd like to just, again, without being redundant, I've heard about this home in this condition since 2010.
I'm aware, I know which neighbor.
Okay. So your neighbors have been complaining to me, off and on, various ones, since that time.
I'm aware. You
So,
mentioned one at Walmart
so,
the other day.
that's right. So that's why I've been trying to move this forward. The people are saying, and your neighbors I'm talking about, feel like we haven't done enough as a council to address this. And it makes us feel like, you know, are we doing the right thing?
and are we doing our due diligence by serving the people and letting one person, in your case, go on and on? And I've just some question in my mind. I just wonder how long it's going to take, because I haven't got the foggiest idea. And by the way, Mr. Thomas, there is an individual here that I talked to just as a meeting, and he wants to speak about this issue, if you don't mind. Please state your name, sir, and tell us your address.
My name is William Dean. I live at 3002 Primrose Drive, right across the street from said house. It's been in pretty rough shape the past 4 years since I've lived there. Minimal progress has happened, just like Phil kind of saying. 2 years ago, I think that's when it kind of started. There was raccoons living in the front of the house. That got fixed, and then it kind of slowed down, picks up, slows down, and that's just a thing that, you can't do it all at one time, understand. There's other things too. When it rains, an entire flood comes right out of her yard into my driveway. Cost me $15,000 to redo my entire driveway. Add drainage systems. It still just floods right in. It's an eyesore. It's very bad. We keep up with our property.
Have you seen anything unusual happening day or night? Any kind of animals or infestation you might see just from street view in the house?
Not lately, but like I said, the raccoons, me and my family, we just sit there and watch the whole family of raccoons come in and out every day. It's tearing up my garbage every night, right on top of my garbage can now. Haven't seen them in a while, but no one lives there. It's still in a rough state. No one's really keeps up with it.
All right, thank you, Mr. Bean.
Bruce, I've got one, I guess, last question. It's not my ward and I'm not getting calls about it, but I can tell you, I'm ready to move on with this. This lady's had plenty of time. Ma'am, it's not your time to speak right now. And I think we've drug our feet long enough, and I'm ready for some kind of hard deadline. That's all I'm saying. This is, I'm not in y'all's shoes where you get calls every day, but this has been a long, drawn-out process, and I understand it, but we've been as patient as we can, and I'm ready for action, significant action on her part, or I'm ready to tear it down.
I agree.
Do you have a recommendation, Judd, on a timeline?
Again, I don't know what, I mean, we've been passing it down, but I would want the reports, I would want the contract signed for the roof, I don't even know what else is on the list, but I would want those things done in 30 days and say, if they're not, then we're tearing it down. And if you'd make a 30-day recommendation of what needs to be done, and say, so that we have that, that's what I want to know. Because if not, I mean, and I know we're in a bad part of time, but guess what? It's been 3 years. It's been 5 years.
I'm trying to clarify your points off. Tell me if I get out of bounds. If you could point out what you would consider needs to be done in the next 30 days to make this viable going forward.
And that's the original list and the schedule for the original list, what we felt like was viable and very, very
Okay. Let's get that form, checked off the items that they've done, and we'll forward that to you. Yep.
Okay.
I'd still like to bring it forward then, at least to the council, if that's what you're looking for. Is this just other business that doesn't need to be taken care of?
Our recommendation is that we,
What
Although
I'd
it's not-
like to see is the list, as I requested before, and then see the timeline, and then perhaps this committee could come up with a timeline before we take it down.
Thank you.
I guess my last point on this, sorry, the last property we condemned on that, again, that guy's coming in 30 days, he's gonna have significant progress made, and it seems like we're just dragging our feet on this one. And if we continue to drag our feet, then I say we move forward.
And the problem becomes more expensive the longer we wait.
That's the owner's problem, not mine.
Yep.
Okay, thank you, Bruce.
I'd like to just add on a bright note, we were in here about 6 months ago on 151 Border Circle. The owner at that time, named Karen Clark, she brought her attorney in, and we've been getting ready to that notice in this car from her attorney. She has since sold the property, and if you're ever over on Border Street, the transformation of that property is phenomenal. It's coming along, but I'm convinced nothing would have happened if we hadn't met in here and started the process.
Thank you, Mr. Bruce.
Thank you, Bruce.
Okay. In your packet, there is the monthly Developmental Review Committee report, so you can just look at that at your leisure. We added item C under other, and that is update on the renaming of Dixie Street.
Yeah, on Dixie Street, this committee last month wanted us to verify the signatures, and if the signatures could be verified, then we would have the public hearing before the February Planning Commission meeting. We did verify the signatures. We had staff and officials working to verify those, and we did verify that 50% plus one of the property owners' signatures, all the remaining signatures were verified besides the one in question. So we did that. We had the public hearing again before last week's Planning Commission meeting. And the only consensus, I believe, is that there's no consensus. That's the best way to put it. There are some who are in favor of changing it from Dixie Street. There are some who agree with changing it to Fuller Street. There are some who agree would rather be changed to something else. There are those that want it to remain the same. And we had input from, I would say, equal number of people this last public hearing. To me, there are three outcomes. We can vote it down. If the council gets it, the Planning Commission voted to table it because we realized there wasn't a consensus in terms of how to approach it. There's three options. Vote it down, vote for the change, or put together a formal group to discuss how we might want to handle it. But I don't think we're in agreement in terms of what the proper steps should be. And I think that's what the Planning Commission's decision to table it was probably the right one.
So will it go to will it come back out? in
So
30
typically, the
days?
Planning Commission is tabled for just 30 days, so it would come up for a vote again, typically the following Planning Commission meeting, so the March Planning Commission meeting.
John, I've still had people that live on that street tell me they have not been notified.
Yeah.
And I'm just curious you believe everybody has?
We have photos of where the door hanger, so for people who reside there, the letters are sent to the property owners. And we had documentation that all those were sent. For the people who reside on the street, there are two things that we do. And the reason why public hearings require different types of public notices exactly for that. For some who say they didn't get it in their mail or something of that nature. So for residents, door hangers are placed on their doorknobs. Street signs, yard signs are placed periodically up and down the street. And then, of course, the public hearing is advertised in the paper of record as well. And so we've done that twice. So if we have photo evidence that the door hangers are placed on every doorknob. So.
One last question. and for me at least, is the people that, when you went and verified on Walk the Street, or your staff did the people on that live on Dixie Street, do they seem to be wanting this change, or they seem to be wanting to keep it? Or do you have an idea of that?
So again, the signatures that we verify are those who are property owners, and many of them do not live on the street. We heard from, I would say, 7 or 8 residents who live, between the two public hearings, 7 or 8 residents who live on the street. And we said all but 2 were against the change. Is that correct?
Yeah. Everybody that live on that street.
So that's what I said, there's no consensus.
The people that live on the street don't want to change it. It's, the family lives on it, which is Mr. Fuller. He lives in there, so he wants to change.
They're one of 2.
And the other one is a landowner, but he owns property there, but he doesn't live there. He wants to change, but everybody else wanted to remain Dixie.
John, I had somebody reach out to me, and they were talking about Mr. Fuller was a hero and all this stuff. I don't know anything about his background. But I asked him, I said, could we name something after Mr. Fuller that's not a street?
Mm-hmm.
And he said, that might be an idea if we had, I don't know, park or something we could name after Mr. Fuller, because they felt like he needed to be recognized for his service.
Right.
And that would recognize Mr. Fuller and leave Dixie Street named the same for everybody that lives on Dixie Street.
Yeah.
So that might be a thought.
So I think that would be a great item to consider if we did put a discussion or like a task group together, a task force or something like that. One of the things that was brought up is that one of the planning commissioners felt like he was concerned because many of the residents there are elderly, and they may have a problem, being on fixed income, defraying the cost of, changing their address and things of that nature. And we can't provide for the funds. We did come up with the cost, an estimated cost to replace the signage, and we got with John Ritchie, and he said, John, I think it was like, how much per sign for the street signs? Yeah, and so when you factor in labor and things of that nature, it's about maybe $3,000 to $5,000 to change the signs. That's the city's cost. The personal cost, it's really not that much. It is a hassle more than anything. And so the thoughts were to perhaps have a fundraiser to raise funds. But if it's decided that the street name would not be changed, then those funds could be used towards some kind of memorial or statue or something of that nature for.
But speaking as a senior citizen, changing addresses and stuff, it's not the cost. It's just
it's a hassle.
It's a hassle.
It's a hassle. Yeah.
But we could. The city of Benton could erect a plaque or something to recognize Mr. Fuller and put it someplace over on in the community.
Do we currently have a place that recognizes, whether it be in the city or the county, or that recognizes Gold Star families?
We had just was back there on the wall, and they're gone now.
I'll add too, the brick memorial in front of the courthouse does have at least one Gold Star family, so it wouldn't be a problem to add another.
Yep, I agree. That's where we are. Planning Commission tabled it, and they'll bring it up again next month.
You met, talk to the planning commission, tell them what we discussed.
Okay, we'll do.
Make a motion with it.
We got
one more
one more
item.
thing. Relocating short-term rentals.
Yeah, we received word from a couple different sources last night and this morning. House Bill 1445. It's going to go. It's basically governing short-term rentals, and it basically limits the ability of municipalities and counties to regulate short-term rentals. The bill is going to be before the City and County Local Affairs Committee tomorrow at 10 o'clock. The copy you have, the documentation you have in front of you, we received input from the president of the Arkansas Planning Association and also from general counsel from the Municipal League. and they provide their feedback and concerns. I've shared copies of that with you, and both of their emails provided contact info for the legislators that are going to be on the committees. If you're interested in that, I'd be glad to forward that to you. But the mayor wanted me to share that with you at committee tonight. Yes, sir. I won't, but I encourage you, if you're concerned and interested, to reach out to those on the committee. That's all.
Anything else to come before this committee?
One more thing.
Okay.
Introductions. I want to introduce our intern, Corbin Williams. He is a senior at Benton High. He does a lot of great research for us. He's willing to pitch in wherever. He's helped pack boxes, get us ready for our move. I think he'll detail your car if you ask him.
I need to see you
yeah.
after the meeting.
But also, too, I think he's raised the IQ level of the department. But I don't know if that's a reflection on him or us. I don't know. That's true. That's true. That's true. But anyway, he's been a great resource for us already, and he's a sharp young man. I'm glad to work with him. That's all I have.
Nothing else, we are adjourned.
All right.
Thank you
Thank
all
y'all.
for coming.